Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sequoia Project Podcast, the podcast dedicated to talking about the ins, outs, ups, and downs, and everything in between of business. My name is Coby, and I'm joined by your co-host, Dale. Say hi, Dale.
G'day, everybody. Welcome to episode 8.
Yes,
we're not gonna argue about the episode this time.
the intros are just getting smoother though as we go.
Yeah, no, that's like honey, but that's real good.
I actually listened to the first episode's intro on the way home today, and I was like, oh my God, who was this kid? And now everything just feels so smooth. There's so much more confidence on our camera presence for both of us.
You've done episodes, 8 episodes now, and now you're like Gandhi.
Pretty much, yeah. So everyone can listen to everything I say from now on.
Cool. All right, well, let's kick this thing off, dude. I want, like we did, this is a kind of 2-step cadence, episode 7 and 8 together. Last week we did all about what you need and what you don't need and the idea, how to get the idea. If you guys have done that and listened to that, if you haven't listened to that, hop back to the last one because this one's going to be a lot of information based on that. So what we're going to talk about today is literally, as we're going to get as simply and as quickly as possible, like how to actually take that idea and turn it into something that's validated, that you can start to grow with. So we're going to go through like 5 kind of steps on how to do that. But the whole thing of this is that we're not going to dive into specifics for a specific service business or product business or software business or anything like that. We're actually going to give you the general statements that you can go, now I've got my idea. Does this apply to my idea? So you can get it done as quickly as possible. You can actually go out and do it. So the first thing is obviously now you have the idea. Yeah, that's where we left off last week.
Yep.
So the steps are going to be, now you need to build an offer. And this might sound counterintuitive because you might be like, no, I need to have the perfect product. I need to have the perfect thing. No, not actually. Absolutely you don't. Not. Right now, what you need to understand is what that offer is going, or what that product or service is going to give to your audience. And you need to be able to put something in front of them to get them to tell you if they want it or not. Because you can go and buy everything for a lawn care business. You can go and buy subscriptions and you can get a manufacturer to make your product. But if no one wants it, if you have the idea and no one wants it, then you're going to spend all that money for no reason. So the first step is we need to build an offer so we can put it out to our customer so they can go, hey, I like this and I would buy this if this thing existed. Second thing we need to do is we need to actually be able to validate that offer. We need to be able to go, cool, the customers have said they want it. How badly do they want it? Would they be willing to put a deposit down? Would they be willing to buy this thing if I had it in my hands right now? If they are, tick. If they go, no, there's no way I'd spend any money on this. It's a great idea, but I don't want to spend any money on this. I need to go back to the drawing board. Okay. And then the last thing we need to do is actually go, can we convert these people into customers? If the answer is yes, if your business is simple and the costs are low, we can get the customers, we can acquire the stuff we need to service the customers, and then we can go out and service them. So anything that you want to kick off with that comes to mind first, Coby, before we dive into this kind of step-by-step thing?
I think something that we should probably reiterate, just in case people aren't listening straight away on it, was the 4 steps to actually getting your offer. Just real quickly on like what it needs to be. Like obviously you need to have that one to be simple and whatnot. There, you need to solve the problem. Do you want to jump in here? Despite the fact
you forget them.
We just spoke about them too, and I was like, yeah, well, that's the end of that. Simple, solve the problem.
Yep. So it needs to be simple. It needs to solve a problem. It needs to be something that you can do right now with the equipment network or anything that you have. And then it needs, if you're going to be in a market that is heavily, what people would call heavily saturated, how are you going to do it differently to everyone
Absolutely.
else? So we went through that in the last episode. It's a good callback to that. If you've got those 4 things, then you are ready to actually go through and build an offer.
That first step.
Yep. 100%. So now that we talk about the offer, there is, what I think I actually want to do is I want to go through and talk about the thing that's worked most for us, because there's a framework even to an offer. And just like anything, you can do something the wrong way or the right way, and it's going to take some testing and things like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take out a ton of the testing for you. I'm going to tell you the thing that's worked the most in my businesses over the last 7 years. Coby already knows this. We have anything that we put into an offer, we have 3 stages of that offer. The first thing is the promise. Okay. So what our business is going to promise you, you are going to pay us to do something. This is our promise to you. Okay. That's the first thing you need. If you don't have a promise, then you're not solving a problem for someone.
No.
If you make them a promise, then they're going to gauge how much they believe you. We call that trust. Okay. So we have the promise and the trust. What we want for a transaction to happen, if I say to Coby, hey, I'm going to sell you this t-shirt, it's going to fit you perfectly and it's going to be at a great price. That's my promise. I'm selling the t-shirt. if Coby trusts me 100%, if there's no reason that he thinks he's not going to get everything he wants out of that t-shirt, he will buy it from me then and there. That means our promise is fantastic. If we have 99% or less trust, that is when stage 3 comes in, and that is our guarantee. Yeah. So we use these 3 things, and we've tested hundreds of different ways to do transactions. This is the one that works the most for us. If you think of any big company, any big business, someone that you've used before, they'll do 72 months interest free. Harvey Norman does stuff like that. They'll do all this money back guarantees, all this stuff, because that's what works the most. The big businesses spend much more money and resources than I spent learning my systems. They spent more than that, hundreds of millions of dollars, getting the thing that makes the risk for the customer as low as possible.
Absolutely.
Okay? So the biggest objection, every objection fits into this category. You go, Coby, I'm going to make you a promise. Trust is the next thing. Trust, and the opposite of that is risk. So if the customer goes, there's 100% trust, therefore 0 risk, you will make a sale. If he goes, there's a lot, I've got 20% trust, there's 80% risk, you will probably not make the sale based on statistics. If you have a guarantee that eliminates 80% of risk, you're back into making a transaction. So that's why we go promise, trust, and guarantee. If you have all 3 of those things in place, you can then approach someone to make a sale. So that's the framework that we're going to use. Anything to add on that, Cobes?
No, I think that's very fair. It's something that you've always said. From me, I want to bring that to sort of a real world example of what we kind of had, which was when we very first started the marketing thing. There's a lot of people there doing the marketing and everything, and the first thing we had to do was figure out what our offer was going to be. Of course, we're going to offer like our meta advertisement, that sort of stuff. What was the actual like trust building? We let them know sort of our knowledge around that, how we were going to do it, sort of what our experience was based around it. Also bring it down to a lower price for that starting off point there. So people's risks were definitely a lot like less. And then brought in that guarantee, which the guarantee allowed them to be pretty much like, well, if this doesn't happen, then I get completely everything back. And they didn't have to think of it. I think it was a big thing when you present something to people where you have zero risk. We're taking all that on, and you guys have 100% reward with it. The chances of you getting that customer is so much higher. And we, again, like the way you did it, we brought it into the fresh offer for our marketing, and it just went well. It's always something that's going to be repeatable for absolutely everything. I mean, even products, if they don't like the product, how many people can return it within 30 days sort of stuff. Yeah. That's the guarantee that so many businesses offer.
Yeah. And you can be as creative as you want with your guarantee. Like, I mean, like I've had crazy guarantees because I had been in business for so long that there's no chance, 0% chance we don't deliver on what we've done, because we did it 3,000 times before that. And we did it right every single time. So you can get as creative as you want with your guarantees. I would say in the beginning, the 2 rules that I have is it cannot cost you anything financially, because if you get a customer and you say, oh, well, use our pressure washing services, and if you don't like them, we'll give you $10,000. Well, you don't have any experience. There's no track record of, hey, we've got 100,000 happy customers. So you're making a bad bet there. So for the first rule, especially starting out, it can't cost you anything financially. So you might say, if you're unhappy, we'll come out and we'll do it again completely free of charge. That costs you time, might cost you a little bit of, in materials or fuel or something to get out there, but it's such a low amount of risk. And if you just did it perfectly the first time, or as good as it can be done the first time, the chances they call you back are very, very small. So you can use any variation of that so that it's not costing you out of pocket. And the second thing is it can't be something that you cannot guarantee the outcome of. So for example, you can't say, oh, we'll give you a trip to Mexico. If you don't like our service, we'll give you a trip to Mexico. And then you realize, oh, borders of Mexico are closed. You can't do that to your customer, because you've asked them to trust you twice now. And if you break the second variation of that trust, okay, well, you didn't get exactly what you wanted. They're just not going to come back. And that's how you generate poor word of mouth. When someone can understand that you made a mistake, but then you covered your mistake, most people are pretty cool with that. If you make a mistake and then you go, oh, but I can't get you tickets to Mexico because the borders are closed, then you've done that twice. That's how businesses get bad word of mouth. Bad word of mouth kills a business. Good word of mouth makes a business. So those are the 2 rules with the guarantee. So how do we then package this into something that is an offer? So we know that we have a problem, that our customer has a problem, and we're going to give them a solution. So we want to package that in as quickly as possible. It can be however you want, but the promise basically has to look something like, are you struggling with this? We solve it by doing this. Okay. Then the trust gauge depends on the format of the outreach, the format of how you ask your customer. So if you're doing it online, it's very hard to see body language. It's very hard to see if they get excited about it. You're going to be at the mercy of the likes, the comments, and the things you get back from your customer and the questions that they ask. So be very, very wary of that. If you're doing it in person, body language cues, what they say, the objections that they have to that is all valuable data. We want to keep as much of that as possible. And even Coby, when we were going through our different stages of offers and things like that, the first thing that I was concerned about is who is saying no to you and why are they saying no to you?
Yeah.
Because those are the key indicators of what you need to sharpen in your promise. And I'll give you let's do a really good live example of this. If you were walking down my street and I said to you, I'm giving out Ferraris. You want one?
Absolutely.
It's an amazing promise.
Yeah.
It's an amazing promise. But the risk that's associated with that would straight away go in your head. Why is this guy giving it away for free?
Yep.
Exactly right. Why is he giving me all of this for free? So then the trust goes all the way down to zero, and you go, "This is too good to be good. This is too good to be true." All that. If there's no such thing as a free lunch. So all the cliches that you hear in your head, the trust is at zero. The promise is way too good. But if I then said to you, "Hey, here's the deal. I will give you my home address, all my personal information. I'll give you a written warranty on the vehicle. If anything goes wrong with this vehicle in the next 5 years, I will be financially and personally responsible for that. Here's my lawyer, sign the documents, it's yours." All of a sudden, they're giving away Ferraris, trust goes up. So that's a really good example of what everyone would be like, too good to be true, no, I'm walking away, whatever. If you give them a guarantee, all of a sudden the trust goes from 0 to 100%. That's what we want to do in this thing. You can make an outlandish offer. You want to make an offer that people go, I can't afford to turn this down, this is too good. And it can still be simple and sexy. So the promise has to address their problem. Okay. Then we can gauge the trust. It's either going to be in likes or comments. It's going to be in questions. It's going to be in person, body language, everything like that. We want to take down as many of that customer. The first customer that responded to me said this. What would be my contingency for that? How would I fix that into my offer so that if they're asking me questions, now I can make an offer where no one has to ask any questions. Really good example of that from my first business. Again, very simple business, waste removal, was we would drop flyers in people's letterboxes and we talked to people on the street about, their trash and what they were going to do with it and all that kind of stuff. And I would say to them, they'd say, no, we don't need it right now. What I would say to them is, have you used a service like this in the past? They don't need my services. They told me, no, we just took everything to the tip. We don't need it. Okay. Have you used anything like this in the past? Yeah, well, we have. Could you tell me how, what went wrong? Or can you tell me how it went? And they go, well, we don't like using services like that because they never turn up on time. They say they're going to be there tomorrow. They say they're going to take our booking, but then they don't. That's the feedback you want to put in your offer. My offer then became, we were called Grab Your Junk back in the day. Grab Your Junk, your same day waste removal solution, because we addressed everyone's questions in one statement. And that was our promise to you. So if you see our name come up, we are guaranteeing you the same day waste removal solution. Now, if that meant we could get out there on the day, fantastic. That was our first priority. Get out there and do the job on the day. If we couldn't, we had your booking. It was guaranteed. And if we didn't turn up on time when that booking was, we paid for the job.
Yeah.
Promised, trust, and guaranteed. If we weren't there, right, like when you called us and said, hey, I need something taken today. If we couldn't get there today, we took the booking and we guaranteed you that we would pay for the job if we didn't turn up on time. That eliminated all the questions, all the objections that people had, and it allowed us to grow our business. We made a promise. Everyone trusted us. The more word of mouth that came out, we didn't even have to offer the guarantee anymore because everyone just said they've done this 100 times, they'll do it again. So that's a real life example of how that works. Anything to add on your side, CE Media side of things, Combs?
Yes, something as well there that we did for trust building that we ended up doing that would have given more trust for future customers, not just the ones who were servicing then, was an offer that we ran that was like a free photo shoot, and all they had to do in return was leave a genuine, honest review on like the Google or the Facebook of how they felt the service went. Because of that, once they had that review there, people can now go to our pages and see that there's the trust. They're like, well, Coby showed up on time. Coby was amazing to work with. There was one that up there that was, Coby was great to work with despite the fact that it was still like a low cost. He was happy to reschedule due to kids having COVID, all that sort of stuff. And it just shows all these different aspects there that not only have you just built that trust with that customer then, but now there's so much more reviews and people. I mean, if you're going to a restaurant, what are you going to do? You're going to go there and you're going to search it by your 5-star reviews and you're going to see what people are searching. So having that with the reviews, similar to your situation, say if a Lamborghini, someone went by, offers a Ferrari, if they showed, well, here's 15 other people down the street that I just gave this Ferrari to, you'll go, well, shit, they've just gotten 15.
Proof of concept.
That's another form of trust that you can build there. And again, it didn't cost anything, just a little bit of time. And other people's word of mouth is probably the best trust you can possibly get.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
really, really good to do in early stages.
For 100%. The best thing is exactly what Coby's talking about there. We actually have a term for it in our businesses. We call it trust by association.
Yep.
And what that means is if I've known Coby for 2 years and then I trust Coby because we've been through ups and downs together, we've got a good relationship, and Coby says to me, hey, you need to talk to this person.
Basically in love.
That's news to me. I didn't know I was in love with Coby, but apparently I am. But no, if he refers someone to me, or if he says, hey, you should speak to this person, immediately, because I trust Coby's judgment, I would trust this person more than someone I had no idea about previously. So it just gives you trust by association. If your best friend and who you know is a good judge of character says, Coby's the only guy that I let take my photos. When you ask for a photographer, she says, Coby, you are going to trust Coby because you trust them. So we call it trust by association, and that's what builds businesses.
The best proof of this actually is I've worked with you for 2 years. My best friend Jai wanted to start a business. I went, Jai, look, you're wanting to start a business. Dale has gotten me to this point. Shoot him a message. Here's his details. I promise you, he's the best guy that you can go with it. Now he's coming out early stages in his business, looking to go full time into his sort of business and all that sort of stuff. And that was just because I had that trust built with you. And he went, look, you're my best friend. And I've seen actually where you've come for the business. So he does seem like the best option for me to be able to go into there. So 100%. That again started from building trust from you and I was working completely with you for free. That was the trust building.
2 years ago.
Absolutely. 2 years ago.
So it's the time that makes the difference as well. Like you give that initial promise. I said, I'm not going to let you fail. You want help? I'm not going to let you fail. You said, all right, let's go then. The promise was good. I did that for 2 years. And now it's like, well, why would he be around for 2 years if he wasn't trying to do the best thing for me? Where would I be in my business if he wasn't here? I trust him. So if someone asks me who I trust, I'm going to tell them. And that's exactly a really good point there as well. So we have the offer there. And again, we're just giving broad strokes here. So if you have an offer and you want to run it by us, put it in the comments, message us, all that kind of stuff. We're more than happy to help out with validating, the idea of the concept of the offer or the promise. And then we need to go into how do we validate the offer, which is we need to take it to people who we can stress test this with. So then we can go out and actually get our customers with it. I like to do this exercise. I like to do it's like a 3-circle network, 3 small concentric circles that you start with the people closest to you, the people who you don't even really want to sell anything to. You just want to get the idea off the ground. Yeah, and what you say to them is, what I'm thinking about doing is this. I'm thinking about offering lawn care services. I'm thinking about starting a photography business. I'm thinking about doing this. This is how I want to do it. This is how it makes it different to everyone else. If this was a service you're interested in, would you buy this kind of product at this kind of price? If they say yes, if they say no, we're going to take that feedback back and work on it and move it into our offer so they have less objections, so they have less questions, so that it says what it's going to do on the packet and it stands out from day one. Then once we have that and we say, okay, what if it was like this? If they give you feedback, take it on board, you change it, you bring it back, you go, what if it was like this? If it was like this, I'd buy it. Then you can say to them, if you need this service, let me know. If you know anyone that needs this service, let me know. This is the promise that I'm making.
Yep.
Once that's validated there, you take it out to the next step, which is more like kind of warmish, we're going out to like acquaintances, people that from people those kinds of things.
Yeah.
We take it out there and we test it again against a colder audience. They're going to have, because they trust you less, they're going to have more questions about it. They're going to have, okay, well, does it include this? And all these little things. And we're going to get that nice and sharp. Once we have that feedback, we can take it to a completely cold audience, which is your social medias, it's your flyer drops, it's all these things. Anything you've ever heard about promoting your business, as long as the cost is very, very low and the risk is very, very low, we can go and push it out to all of those networks out there in that third circle because we have tested this offer, we've validated this offer. We know that there are people who think like us, talk like us, live in the same areas as us that would buy it. We can take it out and we can say, if I was going to offer this in the community, are there people out there that would like it? If the feedback is overwhelmingly yes, fantastic. Your promise is good. You're solving a problem that people need solving and it's in the price point that people can afford. Then we can go to the last stage, which is get our customers. How do we convert these people into people who would pay for this thing right now? So for example, if you're doing something like lawn care, if you're doing something like photography, if you're doing something that's a product, you can say, hey, we're going to be manufacturing this product and getting it out within a week. If you put your deposit down now, we can give you 10% off. We can give you 3-day shipping. We can get the first version of this out to you. That's if you're a product. You want to give them some sort of value there to get them in as a customer. Same thing for services. Hey, if you want to lock in, I'm going to do the runs. If you're talking on a Monday, I'm going to start these runs every Friday. So you get 5 days to get your stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
If you pay the account now, I'll be out there on Friday. I'll start your lawn care service business. And then we convert those customers. Then we detail the service that we do. We go over and above. We over deliver on everything. And Absolutely. Then we ask them to tell their friends. That's exactly what we do. So that's the step-by-step kind of how to build the offer, what to include in there. The thing that works the most is that we've both found is promise, trust, and guarantee. Cover those three things. You'll be ready to rock and roll. Follow the rules of the guarantee as well. Validate the offer with people close to you because they'll give you honest feedback, and then you can sharpen your offer up. As your offer gets sharper and sharper, you go to colder and colder audiences, wider reach, and then you deal with their objections and refine your offer to a point where people are saying, this is a great idea, I'd love to be a part of it. Then you work on how you close them depending on your business, service, product, software, whatever it is. So
Absolutely.
That's the kind of step-by-step thing to do there. I think going into anything more, that's less general than that, those are just the boxes that you have to tick. Once you have that, you will have customers and you'll have a time frame of which you can go, cool, I've got someone who wants to pay money right now. I can go and provide that service because you've ticked all the boxes of your idea. You have your equipment, you have your network, you have everything in place. You can now simply go and do the service. Service or the product should be something that you're very well versed in, like we said about, because it's simple. So the service is the least of your concerns. What you want to do is actually give more value to the customer. Things that they value. They want you to be on time. They want you to send the invoice straight away. They want you to do what you said you were going to do. They want you to do all those things. Focus on that. Service should be simple, and then off you go. Do it again. Rinse and repeat.
If it's not going to cost you a lot of or any money, I think it's going to be the main thing. I think people shouldn't be afraid to do is offer something for free to start off to get some of these answers.
Mm-hmm.
Like me going out, offering the photo shoot for free to get some of these answers, or even to get that little word of mouth. And even with your story of your very first customer, you went out there, did that job, didn't even charge her. And because of that, you built probably one of the best systems that you probably could for business. And it's all because you went and did that service above and beyond without taking a single cent for it. So everything there, the best lessons you can learn is for free and giving it for free. I think people are so much more likely to trust when you're not asking anything back from them.
100%. And the thing is a very good thing to understand. And this is coming from a point now, I was probably more in the mindset of okay, I'm going to start my first business. What do I want to do? Coming now exactly from where Coby said, from a guy who's been in business for almost 8 years, you have to understand the value of what free actually means. Okay. Because I'll ask all of you a question right now. Anyone who's listening to this, if you had a car mechanic that you trusted 100%, would you ever use anyone else?
No,
you
wouldn't.
If you had a real estate agent who sold your house every time for the money that you wanted and was a really nice guy and you trusted him 100%, would you ever use anyone else? No. If the cost of getting someone's trust is that first thing for free, it is such that the value proposition is so far off the scale of you to them, because you get an opportunity to earn their trust, which means you could have a customer for the next 70 years. Free, the value of free is not $0. The value of free is potential. It's potential. What could come from this? If you see free as that, all of a sudden doing things for free doesn't be like, oh yeah, I've heard the saying, if you're good at something, don't do it for free. Bullshit. If you're good at something, you should have a system for how to do it for free so it makes you money. If you're that good at something, you should be able to generate enough free things that make people wonder how good the paid stuff is. And Absolutely. They want to pay you money. Garbage. It's garbage. If you're good at something, you should have a system for how to get it to as many people as possible so you can solve the most problems. The person who solves the most problems makes the most money, period.
Yep.
So that's really in terms of the stages that you need. If you have all of that put together, it can be so simple. So don't be afraid. Exactly like Coby said. First of all, listen or define. You can listen or you can define the version of what free means to you, that value. because that's what it means to me. It might not be that same to everyone, but the upside of giving away something for free is so huge. You can absolutely do that. And then from there, you just build out a base of, cool, I've talked to this many people. These are the kinds of responses I got. Do I need to refine my offer, or are people willing to pay for it now? If they are, how do I get it into their hands? How do I solve that problem? And how do I do it as good as it can be done so they would generate my next customer for me? Sound fair enough?
Sounds 100% fair. It's
Awesome.
something, and again, it's something you guys can go out and literally do right now.
Yeah, 100%. You could do it. You could do it with this week. You could go, cool, for the next 7 days, this is what I'm going to do. And by the end of the week, you would have results, and you'd be able to come back and say, this is what I have. That's your job. Just get the results. I don't care if they're good. I don't care if they're positive. I don't care if they're negative. That's, as a business owner, that's not your responsibility.
No.
Your responsibility is to accept that you don't know something that you could know in a week, and do the things that you need to do to learn that thing. If you have that information,
all data is good data.
All data is good data. Exactly right. Bring back the data. And I say, and last week we touched on doing a podcast just on like the personal principles and stuff I have. I've said this to you, God knows how many times. I've said this to hundreds of people. Prove it. I don't care. I think my customer needs me to change my business trading name. I don't care what you think. Get 10 customers together and tell me what the data is, and then I will believe you. But if you cannot prove it, I don't have time to listen. We have to move on to other things that get results. So that's how you do all that. And we're actually probably pretty sweet on time here. I want to run into something that we were talking about testing. I want to do like break up a little bit of what we're talking about into like a segments. I want to have a bit more of like a I want it to feel like we're not just having a conversation and then that's the conversation's over. I want to break it into a little segment thing here. And me and Coby had a chat throughout the week. One of these things that I want to try is something that we came up with called merger or murder. All right. And the premise of this is going to be that one of us brings a business idea or something that we've heard about business, a principle or someone, it might be an actual person that we bring to the other person. We explain the concept, and then they decide if they would merge with it, which means bring it into their business if they think it's good, or murder it, kill it. That's terrible. Wouldn't bring it in. And I think this is something that we might start working with some of the podcasts just to keep it, light and keep it fun. So we're not just talking about one topic the whole time. So I have some for you here, and I actually had a few of these come across my desk over the week.
I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this.
Dude, some of these are really cool. So there's some cool stuff happening. The first one that I want to give you is, Magnum, a bit like the ice creams.
Yeah, not the condoms.
Yeah. Not the condoms, the ice creams. So what they've done is they've gone with a company in Chile that is like a full AI database. And what they're doing is running simulations for their flavors, for their ice cream flavors, based on AI combinations of all of their best-selling flavors, over the last 20 years.
That's sick.
Yeah. So basically what they're doing is they're coming up with this, it's like the whole concept is like AI-based food predictions for trends. And yeah, so they might take their best 20 sellers of the last 20 years. They'll program it into this special AI that will take all of the ingredients into account, what works well together, things that mix well together, all that kind of stuff.
Overall, like food palette and whatnot.
Yep, 100%. And it'll print you out a different flavor that no one has. And that's what they've invested in. They've invested in this technology that will redefine what flavors actually can be. And
that's
I was like,
unreal.
I was like, that kind of technology, is that something that you would merge with, or is that something that you would murder? Are you interested in knowing AI's take on flavor and food?
I think
for a business, for a business.
There's definitely going to be something that's to come to play there with the AI of obviously not having that actual human aspect. It's never tasted food, but it comes from so much actual data from how people's natural taste buds work. And I think it's so interesting. It's like, to me in my brain, it's almost like a concept of trying to create a new color. Like how is there going to be a flavor that hasn't been out there? But I think, with the way the technology is going and everything like that, you could use it in so many different aspects, not just for food sort of style. I think it'd be, look, I think it's really good. I'd bring it in. I'd merge. Merge. Oh yeah. Merge. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I 100%. I think it's so cool.
I thought the concept is fantastic. I don't know, because the thing that from a business point of view, personally, I think the concept is cool because it's something that hasn't been explored, or at least I haven't heard of before.
If it can be proven, I think it's going to be so strong there.
Yeah. Well, what I like about it is personally, it's like taking something that you go, everything's been done with ice cream, uses a new technology and goes, well, hold on, not everything's been done with ice cream. I like that because it changes the game. It's a game changer a little bit. But would I, if I had 3 ice creams laying in front of me right now, especially a Magnum, because I know I've eaten Magnums, a ton of them before, so I know what I like. Would I be willing as a customer to get? Yeah, I eat ice cream. what a humble brag. But as a customer, would I be willing to forgo the flavors that I know and love to try something so unique that's generated by AI? So I thought it was an interesting concept. There was a little bit of a curveball because I think the idea is good for innovation. But when I think of a customer, like I love a Magnum Ego, the double caramel thing. If I was sitting there and I was like, oh, there's like this thing I've never heard of, and it says developed by AI, would I pick that up and pay the same money for something that I know I love?
Would I trust the taste of AI over? Yeah.
Well, and is it a curiosity based stunt? Is it just enough? Yeah, and that's the thing. So like, when we say the AI comes up with the data for all these flavors, is it something that the customer is actually going to value enough to go, I'm curious enough to try this thing, and are they only going to buy it once? So like, it's a that's why I wanted to bring that one in, because it's just it's multi-leveled. There's a lot to it. But I think it's cool. As a concept, it's cool. I don't know. I would have to have so much free capital to invest in something like that. And again, we don't have numbers here because it's not publicly listed, but I would have to have so much capital to go, all right, cool. We've explored everything else. Let's go AI flavor.
That's so interesting. Yeah. Look, I want to use your brain real quickly here as a seasoned Magnum eater, apparently. I'm sure you know a bit of the flavors and everything that they have there. What would you mix? Because I want to see, because there's going to be something that's obviously AI can kind of do there that's going to give something completely outlandish. So I want you to have a prediction of what you'd mix and see if you can match something that's going to AI.
You want me to predict what AI is going to bring out?
I want you just one based off your taste buds from what you've eaten, what you think might work together that they could bring out. I think that'd be so interesting if that comes out like a year's time. I'm like, fuck, Dale's predicted this.
Okay. Well, all right, let's just get a quick parameter down. Am I making it based on what I would like to eat, or am I making it based on what I think would be the most profitable for them?
Bring profitable, because I know you've tasted a lot, and I feel like you have some kind of idea of what basic foods would go together. You've experienced a lot of food around the world, so you have quite a range of taste buds, I'd assume.
Okay, all right. I like how we've gone from starting a business into this. Now we're deep in the Magnum hole.
But I think it's really interesting to establish an AI perspective versus a human perspective, because if you ask a human this, they're going to have something with so many different parameters, I think, that they will never take into consideration compared to what like an AI would.
Yeah, for sure. I think it would be in Magnum's best bet for profit to not immediately stray away from what they know works. So if I was writing that recipe, I would go, these are our best sellers. I want at least 70% of these flavors and ingredient combinations in our ice cream. Because if you just went, AI invent some new type of orange ice cream that no one's ever eaten before, the window of people, the demographic of people that would go, I would love an orange flavored ice cream, is really, really low. So I would go hard data first, and I'd be putting some number on it. Keep it 70%, 80% like this, and then just put a small twist on it. So what I'm going to say is it's going to be some sort of version of like the first ones that come off the lot will be 70% predictable with a 30% twist. So I'm going to say something like a double version of chocolate, double dark chocolate, caramel, pistachio, and honey, or something like that. Where like it sounds good and it's like not so far away from what they do right now, but it just takes a little bit more data and puts it into something. So I think it's going to be some variation of something like that. It sounds like a Magnum flavor, but it's generated by AI.
I want you to hear me out on this.
Go.
A Neapolitan cookie dough.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at their flavors on the left side here.
You got a cheat sheet.
Yeah, I'm looking at what they have. That's so interesting. Bringing AI, I mean, just could you imagine what that could bring into your business? Well, I don't know if it actually would be that helpful for you, but for my business coming into marketing, putting together just some stuff that it's like, well, for so many products, just like the way that AI can take marketing there because of all that data, having the way that like every single person, any review, any taste bud, anything like that, or the way that like the natural brain works through just overall seeing how people like react to all the data in scrolling Facebook, Instagram, all that sort of stuff. It's just so interesting to see how AI. I'm so intrigued with AI stuff.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, that's the cool thing is that you can even talk about something like ice cream, and it's like, well, all of a sudden, ice cream isn't an everything's been explored situation, which is cool for humanity. I like that for humanity.
Yeah,
and I like it. I like it for business as well because it sets a new precedent of normal. And if everyone rises to that new level of normal, then we as a society get better. We as a civilization get better, which is cool. But
it's taken since 550 BC when ice cream was invented for us to bring AI into it. So there's at least,
there you go.
I want to say at least 10 years there.
Do you know what's funny is we've actually when we're doing these segments is we might actually have like a fact checker or like a stat checker like to run through it with it.
Jamie, pull that up.
Like Rogan. Yeah, I got that. But yeah, like that was just something cool that I thought came across my desk. It really has nothing to do with what we said before, but it is interesting and it's fun. And I think for the listeners, they'll get a good hit of like, all right, cool, that's a good step-by-step thing. But then it's also these are things that you could incorporate into your business, or like maybe not AI flavors and stuff like that. But it's just I like this segment because it gives people an idea that it's like, oh, I could try something different that I've heard on here. So that's merger or murder. I think we'll bring that back a couple of times and we'll see. If people are liking it,
I like that.
We'll keep it around. So, but that's good. Let's close that up here because we're almost at 40 minutes. And we just want to say again, go and test this stuff out, use it for yourself, and bring back the results. Message either of us, both of us. The emails kind of fall 50-50. Like Coby might see some, I might see some, but same with the DMs and stuff. But if you need support, if you need help, all the links in the description. The group is there. Ask questions. It's free. We've got a week free trial for the beta, so ask as much as you want. But very. I think that was really cool. I'm very happy with that. So let's close it off there. Thank you very much for listening, guys.
Yeah, if you guys enjoy Magnums, leave a comment.
Yeah, we might actually see if we can get sponsored.
If you have anything that you hear as well, I would love to see what sort of people are hearing in their business that they would like to implement.
So see on Merger or Murder, or even if you've got something in your business that you're like, oh, this is something that I've tried, send it over and we'll Merger or Murder it here and pick it apart on the show. So that's
absolutely
really cool.
We will break down your ideas to nothing on the show. If you guys like it, like, comment, subscribe, everything's down in the comment down in the description, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys. Thanks again.